Hello, everyone, and welcome to Preservation Chat.
Yeah, you almost said SuttonsDaze, didn't you?
I did. Now, it is, SuttonsDaze is hanging out, but yeah, Preservation Chat, live preservation. And what are we?
Just lost you, Lisa.
Told Lumi commercials. Is anybody else tired of Lumi commercials? Anyway, did you hear that? Darcy?
Sorry, I was having to shut down the commercial that was on where I can see the chat.
Yeah.
I had to go shut it down.
Was like, okay. Yeah. Okay, so hi everybody. Yes, we can chat all over the world. Did you guys see that? Finland is in the house. It's awesome. So today we found out this morning that our buddy Anna cannot make it today. There was a last minute thing that came up, and so she's not going to be here. So we are going to have to restrict the chat to dehydration and canning.
Freeze drying.
And
freeze drying.
A little bit of freeze drying. Because fermenting and that stuff is Anna's thing, and you don't want me to tell you. No,
me neither. Don't do it.
It won't turn out good. No, but we're gonna have fun and we're gonna chat today, and then next time we do this next month, because it happens once a month, third Saturday of the month. For an hour. So. Hey, Melissa. So we will be once a month back, and Anna will be with us. So, Darcy, what have you been doing with this late summer, dehydration stuff?
Actually, I haven't been doing so much lately because I've had a lot of other things on my plate. So I'm doing, well, I know a lot of you might have seen it, but I've been on the School for Traditional Skills route this summer, doing some things for them. And I've got I'm part of their homesteading summit this week.
Darcy's famous and stuff,
Yeah, no, stop. I'm so not. But I'm doing that on Friday. I'm doing a presentation for them. So I've been writing it and I've been practicing it and trying to get ready for it. And we've had so much going on here that I've been dehydrating a ton lately. So all I've been doing when I am dehydrating, I am stocking up. I am getting frozen, like I showed in the video last week. I'm doing a ton of frozen foods and dehydrating them and just stocking them up. Getting ready for stuff. Since we had no garden this year, I didn't go shopping for what produce was on sale. It was do the easy thing, just go get the frozen stuff and get it going. So I've got quite a bit that I have to restock. So
yeah, and it's a good thing to get it done now, in case nobody's paying attention to my channel. Get stocked up. Anyway, stack it to the rafters. Kimberly Haney says that she is canning beef. Yeah. I am actually, the reason you guys haven't seen a whole lot of canning videos from me is because I have been busy. My pantry, I've worked really hard at keeping that at a certain level, to the extent where I'm kind of out of room for the moment. So I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you I'm out of room. And so I need to do some rearranging and some reconfiguring and see what else I need to put up. But I think we're pretty good. I'll be doing some soups and stuff coming up soon. Is a 250 watt dehydrator too weak? Asks Sven.
And it's not too weak. It's just going to take a long time to get stuff done compared to what the times are that they tell you. So just know it's just going to take a while. So I wouldn't worry about it. Just plan for it to take about twice as long as any of the times tell you it's going to be.
And I see that Debbie did raw pack brisket. Hello. That's the best way to do it. That's awesome. And let's see, Candy's dehydrating for soup this next week. I do need, one of my buddies at the farmer's market grows the most amazing cabbages. Okay. Huge cabbages. And so I need to get the dehydrator out and dehydrate a bunch of that so that I can add it to the soups and stuff, because yes. Stocking up. We've got the Highlands is in the house. Love it. And so I need to do a freezer inventory. I'm terrified. I don't know about you, but I'm terrified because I've been trying to get it empty unsuccessfully. Okay. And in about 6 weeks or so, I have to have room for an entire pig, and I don't know where it's going to go.
Oh,
yeah.
Good timing.
Yeah, I know. I literally, I'm on a deadline for everything. Everything is in 6 weeks, and I'm like, no, stop, because I have to have that ready because I'm not going to be able to do it so that Phil can do it, and I'm not going to want to choke him. So
Yep.
yeah, it's going to be fun. Darcy, help. My flipping apples aren't dehydrating fully. How long on average would you expect at 50 degrees?
They are dehydrating full if you give them time. You just have to give them time. Don't worry about time. Just let them dry until they're dry. And then make sure that you take them off and test them when they're cool, not just right off the rack, because they're still warm. They're going to be bendy. Wait till they cool, test it, and if they need more time, give it more time. And if you're at 50 degrees, that's 50, 52. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I was going to say, look at your little thing because
at 50, yeah, you threw me with the 50 because they did it. That they should dry when they dry. So I don't know how you made them. So are they chunks, are they slices, are they shreds? It just depends on the bulk that's in there, and then just let them dry.
I'm serious. Now I want to do some dehydrated shredded apples.
Oh, that's all I do anymore. I mean, I'll do slices for some snacking, but shreds, I can put it in everything. Oatmeal, it goes in our oatmeal.
That's what I thought. Oatmeal would be amazing. Bread would be amazing. Yeah.
Muffins in oatmeal is how we use it all the time. So
awesome. Oh boy, it's apple season. Okay, is there a way to can my sweet potatoes and them not turn out so mushy? No.
Mm-mm.
No, they're mushy. That's what they do. There's no way around that. You cube them, you can them. I don't know what you normally get out of potato, but when you bake a sweet potato, it comes out mushy, much mushier than Idaho potato. So it's the nature of the beast and what they are. The good news is we can them. So you just drain the liquid, and I either take them and try to carefully, after I drain the liquid, put them into a hot, it's already got to be hot, skillet with some oil in it, and it will char up. And then it's kind of like a marshmallow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Because the outside, if you're very careful, you can flip that little guy, and that outside gets nice and crispy and caramelized, but it's still very soft inside. And there's something remarkably satisfying about that. Yes. Okay. Oh, somebody's doing roasted red peppers. So Gate wants to know if they can move in as they're not prepared. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. No, in this house, no, you can't. There's nowhere for you to go.
Come on, Darcy. I wanted to move in with you.
You have to sleep on top of somebody else.
I just started canning this year. Botulism scares me, as it should. My parents and grandparents used to can, but are no longer around. Is it as prevalent as the USDA says it is? You're going to find very little information on it. There are cases that are reported to the CDC. Here's the issue. Botulism presents as a stroke. You'll think you're having a stroke. The medical professionals will think that you're having a stroke. Everybody will treat you for a stroke, and you ate food that you didn't can properly or that somebody else didn't can properly. So my number one advice is don't eat anything if you didn't see them can it, and can it properly. I had a conversation with somebody today. Melissa Grubb has Dial a microbiologist. She doesn't. But anyway, so she actually reached out to a microbiologist, and it's the best quote that I've had like forever. And I'm going to keep it and use it all the time because they wanted to can bacon. And you can't can bacon. There is no safe method for canning bacon. And per the microbiologist, no, you cannot regulate it because of the amount of fat in there. Okay. So don't do it. But I saw it done on YouTube.
There's lots of stuff.
Jump off bridges on YouTube. Just because you want to doesn't mean you should. And so, yeah, just do it safely. Kristen, honestly, follow the process, trust the process. You'll have no trouble. Your car is more dangerous. Okay. So Melissa's going to try to dehydrate some tomatoes. Got your Thrive Life order, now making meals in a jar. That's cool. Darcy and I we had a project.
We are
still.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about that.
Okay, good. Because Darcy and I had a project, and then life happened on both ends, and we had a project. And for me, it took me quite a bit to wrap my brain around it. I don't get meals in a jar. I don't get it. I think it's kind of like scrapbooking. Okay. Oh, look at that's fun. No, I'm really all about practical. Let's do practical. Fun is great, but it's also okay, fine. So, yes, we will be coming out with something very shortly, with some really good meals in a jar, so that you too can scrapbook your food. It's awesome. Okay. Um, oh, look at that! 25 pounds of tomatoes for $1.25 a pound. That's not bad. That's not horrible. Okay. Canned carrots and chicken, the sweet potatoes and sweet potatoes next week, plus pork. Pork, yes. When you parboil mushrooms before dehydrating so they hydrate less chewy. You don't, do you?
I don't ever do that. No,
I never.
no, you
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
Uh-uh. And
They're
it
going to
doesn't.
be chewy no matter what, because it's just the way that a mushroom is. But if you parboil them first, they're going to turn dark, and they're going to get. No, I wouldn't do that. Just dry them.
Wouldn't it take longer too to dehydrate them?
Well, it long. Yeah,
Long.
I
Yeah.
don't ever care about time because it doesn't matter. But I just would never do that if it were
Okay.
me, because they're going to turn really dark. If they get wet, they're going to turn really, really dark. And like with frozen ones, the texture of them to me is not good. It's like worse than just regular mushrooms.
Really?
So I don't. I don't
Okay.
ever.
Oh, Melissa did.
Hold on. And if you don't like them chewy, once they're done, powder them and use them as the flavoring agent, not the bulk. So you're not going to waste them.
If you don't tell Phil, Phil hates it that I try to put mushrooms in chili. And so, yeah, no, chili is anything you want it to be. It's like chicken soup. It can be anything you want it to be. Okay.
No.
That is the chili rule. Okay. And so I put mushroom powder in there,
Yeah.
and that way
Yeah.
he doesn't know. Yep. It's great. Yeah. Chicken frames are going to take you forever, Tammy. Forever. Yes. I love how they call them chicken frames. If you go to Azure Standard, you can order chicken frames, and it's so that you can make bone broth, right? It's a frame. No, it's their bones, but yeah, I guess it's a frame.
It sounds
There's
better than bone.
She just finished some habanero hot sauce. Save the pulp. I am in the process right now of drying it to do powder. It says 8 hours. I'm thinking more like 12.
Don't go by the time ever. Ever. The only time you should look at time is if you're on day 3 of something that should have taken maybe 6 to 10 hours, because then your machine's probably not working. But just dry it till it's dry. It's gonna break apart. It's gonna crumble up. That's all you need to worry about.
Awesome. We've just finished the wild garlic salt that we dehydrated in spring. I froze some garlic. Will that dehydrate well also, even if it's frozen?
Yeah, just I don't know how you froze it. So if you froze it whole, go ahead and thaw it and then chop it down because it'll dry better. You can dehydrate whole cloves, but it takes forever and it's hard to powder later. I would just like rough chop it and then throw it in.
Okay. Can you over dry anything?
Yes, you can over dry jerky. You can over dry fruit leather. You can over dry a fruit that you prefer soft. But if you're going to store it, you cannot over dry it. You can overheat it and burn it. You cannot over dry it. And if you do over dry fruit leather or beef jerky, you can leave it out for a little while, let the ambient moisture in the room soften it up a little bit. You can put it into a baggie with a slightly damp paper towel, let that soak up some of the moisture in it. I've heard some people will actually microwave it for just like a few seconds, and that kind of helps soften it a little. I'm sorry?
I would think that would make it harder.
Well, if you can get enough moisture in there, it can soften it up. I've heard. I've never done it. I'm never going to do that. But
so basically, it's too dry in as it's too hard to eat immediately.
To eat the way that people expect it to taste.
Okay.
For me, beef jerky, you get it too hard, it's impossible. But we actually in our house prefer fruit leather chips over the chewy fruit leather because it's easier to chew for people with denture problems.
Okay.
Dental problems.
Dental problems.
And so we prefer the chips. So
you want it over dried in that case.
Yeah, we just don't want it. We don't want it like it's
glass
burned. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Okay. So Linda just finished unpacking her new dehydrator. She can't wait to start. Mary says, "Do you have a video on beef jerky?"
I have a video on ground beef jerky. So not beef jerky like made from pork loin or something. I mean, from loin meat or anything, but it's a ground beef jerky. You'll have to go back to December of last year. I think that's when it was.
Was it last year?
Yeah, because it was right before I did the filming for Traditional School. So
No, you do not have to put salt in anything that you can, anything that you pressure can. Okay. It is strictly for flavor. So you don't have to put it in there at all. I don't salt anything. I do add salt when I pickle because it tends to have something to do with it. But otherwise, no. I think I'm going to try sweet potatoes in the freeze dryer. That would probably be good. Let's see. Okay. Oh, somebody else giving advice? Okay. Thanks, ladies. I'm in the UK, so I can't move in. Bless you, but really enjoy learning it. Darcy, you could have an in with somebody who says herbs.
Shut up. Leave me alone.
Okay. In case we haven't mentioned, Darcy's my work wife. Okay, so I can safely, but I'm so paranoid. I have it in my medical file that my diet consists of a lot of canned foods. Follow the process. Trust the process. Seriously. No, it's not phone a microbiologist. I have a microbiologist and I'm not afraid to use her. Yeah, it was great. Let's see. How about cooked ground turkey to dehydrate and then vacuum seal using mason jar?
Nope. Cook ground turkey, and then put it in the freezer. Okay, but I'll give this caveat. Meat, if it's not cured, is not reliably shelf stable, which means that it could go rancid in 6 weeks. It could go rancid in 6 months. It could go rancid in a year. I have ground beef that's on my shelf that I've just let sit there to see how long it's going to take. I've gotten to, I think I'm like at 18 months now, but I'm not going to ever say your meat will last 18 months because you can't know that. You don't know how much fat is in it and how it's going to react to whatever it is. So it's not reliably shelf stable. So you can do that. And you can put it into something for short term and probably get away with it. You can do that and then use it on a camping trip or a hiking trip and you'll be fine. But what you want to do is if you're going to store something and you want to be reliable in the storage, put it in the freezer, then take it out for short-term use only. What you choose to do in your home is your choice. But just know that over time it can go rancid much faster than anything else because it's just the way that meat is.
Okay, so the fat at the top of the meat does not mean it's going to go rancid. No.
Canning. Sorry.
Yes, canning.
Yeah.
I'm talking about canning.
No. Yeah, but you didn't say that. So
I'm sorry.
Just talking about dehydrating meat.
Mary is asking. So Mary is asking. She made some stew out of chuck roast, and there's a layer of fat on top. Absolutely normal. I do not believe that there is a single meat out there that you can short of boneless, skinless chicken breast that will not present at the end of it with a layer of fat on it. I can pork butt, raw pack pork butt all the time. It actually looks like more in the jar than is actually in there because as it cools, it pushes out to the sides of the jar, right? It's actually not that terrible much. Even if you were to hot pack it, you'd still end up with fat in the jar. You're good. Keep the temperature of your pantry between 55, 75, and you're good. If it goes hotter than that for a little while, that's fine. If you don't have air conditioning and it's, hell in Texas, then you've got bigger problems, but it just shortens the life of it on the shelf. It doesn't mean that it's bad. Okay. It just won't last as long. Melissa, nobody told me that mushrooms were on sale at Aldi's this week. I don't have time.
Are they?
That's what she said. She said that
I don't remember seeing it on the flyer.
I only see what they show up. It's stupid. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so I'm scrolling. Meals in a jar are for my hungry teens and hubby's backup. Soups and stews are meals in a jar. Soups and stews, super easy. Put mushroom powder in my spaghetti sauce. I put mushrooms in it. I
put mushroom powder in everything, pretty much.
There are literally times when Phil's like, "What do you want for dinner?" Because I always ask, "What does he want for dinner?" So tonight he's having pizza. I'm not having pizza. I could totally empty a pint and a half of canned mushrooms and some onions into a pan and heat them up with a little bit of olive and a little bit of garlic and get out of my face. I'm good. So it's good.
There's no protein.
I'm not even at dinner yet, and I've already had 150 grams of protein today.
Holy cow! How do you do? I'm sorry.
I am I am that hyper proteined. Okay, so speaking of bone broth, Lisa, I took your suggestion and bought chicken feet to add to my chicken carcasses. The broth came out amazing. It is the most gelatinous, but I'm telling you, feet are gross, aren't they? Darcy
Disgustingly
loves
gross.
chicken feet. Darcy could spend all day watching me play with chicken feet.
No, I can't. Okay.
I love it. I love freaking her out. Yeah, I dehydrate them for the dog too. Yeah, absolutely. That is the whole reason for buying them. I don't often I don't keep the ones from the chickens we raise, because legitimately at this time I don't know how to clean them properly. Do you know what I mean? Can I dehydrate tomatoes, please? Like your Phil, I need to add tomatoes to sauces, but hubby knows.
Yep. Dehydrate them, powder them if you need to. Yep. Do all the things.
Okay. How well will frozen apple dehydrate?
I've never frozen apples before. I'm sure they'll dehydrate just fine, but if they're chunked, well, if you froze slices of it, yeah, they'll dehydrate. Yeah.
Won't they be mushy when they thaw out?
I don't know.
I've never frozen an apple.
I wouldn't even bother thawing them, because as long as they're not in any kind of sauce, they should be fine just going on a tray as long as they're not a big mass.
Yeah, don't mess with the integrity.
But I don't know how. I've never had frozen apples before, except for like pie filling.
Right.
My grandmother used to freeze pie filling, but but that went into a pie. So I've never tried, but they should work fine. They should.
Let's see, if I only dry very little herbs and rarely zucchini and tomatoes, is there a very, very budget-friendly dehydrator you can recommend so I can free up my oven?
I don't know where you live, so I don't know what is budget-friendly for you, but Magic Mill makes a smaller one.
Hold your hand up in front of your camera.
Me? Oh, yep. Somehow it went.
There you go.
It's me. No,
Great.
why did you do
now
that?
I'm blurry. You're fine. Now I'm blurry.
Okay, because you did that, yeah.
Nice. It'll come back or it won't.
Scoot yourself up closer. No, it's not catching you.
Why is it was fine until I showed you how to fix yours.
Sorry.
Hey, Anna, this is what happens when you're not. So anyway, dehydrators.
Dehydrators, yeah. So Nesco makes one around $100 that I would recommend over all other stackables. Kasori has a stackable. Magic Mill has a stackable. You can also go to thrift stores and find them.
I was going to say that's where I got my first 5 dehydrators. Yeah. Just make sure that you're getting one with a fan.
Well, temperature too. Without a temperature,
helpful, but the fan. Because I got one time that had no fan.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my God, it's stacked like this high. It was some kind of Nesco. I mean, it was a tower, and oh my God, I wasted.
Did it not have a fan, or did it not?
Fan, just a heating element. This thing was old.
I was going to say that would have had to been back from the 60s or early 70s. Yeah, go with one if you can find it that has a temperature gauge on it, because that way you're going to have much better results out of everything that you do. But yeah, there's quite a few of them out there.
Okay. Well, dehydrated foods, do you use oxygen absorbers?
I do not. You don't need them. If you properly dry, properly condition, properly store, you don't need them. But some people like to use them for longer term storage things for security, that they feel better, but you don't need them.
Yep. My thrift store suck lately too, Marjade. I agree. Though I did find 2 really big bowls today or yesterday. It was awesome.
My thrift store knows that they can charge more because of where we live.
Yep.
So nothing costs what it should cost in a thrift store. It's all like really expensive. So.
Yeah, they tried doing that here. I got kind of loud. Me? Yeah. I was gifted a lot of cucumbers, so I just canned 50 pints of pickles and 18 pints of relish. Perfect. How are stores getting away with cheese and crackers with uncured meat? Because they have a completely different processing than you are capable of replicating in your home ever, without hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment. So if you want to do that, you can do that. What's the best way to make it? What?
It's not reliable. Doesn't mean that it won't. It's not reliable. Okay.
Okay. What's the best way to make tomato juice?
Oh, I have no idea. Why I wouldn't make tomato juice.
I don't make tomato juice?
Just crush it, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, seriously. I'm like, okay, so I found a workaround for canning tomato sauce and stuff. I hate peeling tomatoes. I would rather peel my fingernails off, okay? So I take the tomatoes and I put them through a juicer,
Mm-hmm.
like turn carrots into juice, that kind of thing. And it does a phenomenal job. So I'm thinking maybe something like that, and you could make tomato juice.
Why wouldn't you use your steam juicer? Because you could do so much more.
Because actually, that doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
And I had to blow a bunch of tomatoes to find that out. What it does is it doesn't come out red at all. The red is from the pulp. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What it does is it creates a clear
Oh, that's right.
flavored sauce. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty nasty. Mm-hmm. Yep. Can you please give us some tips on how to prevent siphoning while pressure canning foods? Yes. One, I have a video about that. Melissa.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Melissa, thank you for that.
Yeah, Melissa's awesome. And then number 2, okay, your headspace needs to be dead on. Okay. Your temperature cannot fluctuate a whole bunch. Don't move the canner while you're doing it, and do not have sudden changes in temperature, like when you're done. Don't pull the lid off completely right away, especially if you've got the air on or something like that, because the shock between what's the temperature in the canner and your home could be drastic enough that it will siphon at that point. Some things are more prone to siphon, and as stupid as it is, tomatoes are one of those things. Pie filling is another one of those things. So it's, keep your temperature seriously regulated. Do not have it higher than what you're supposed to have it, and watch your headspace. I wish there was a surefire way. It doesn't mean you're failing, unless you're doing those things that I mentioned. Then don't stop doing them. Siphoning happens. It really does. It really does. Okay, so I'm starting my journey with preserving and pre-making foods, and I don't know if I should start with ingredients or meals. Meals or ingredients. And I guess it depends on how many you're cooking for. Okay. Well, no, not really, because for me, it's me and Phil. So we may have the same thing a couple days in a row, or, for lunch tomorrow, whatever we had for dinner the night before. But if you have ingredients, you can make anything. Okay.
You're not stuck.
Yeah, I get people that, well, I put taco seasoning in my ground beef before I can it. Why? Then you are 120% committed to tacos, whereas I put ground beef in mine, and I can have soup, I can have tacos, I can have casseroles, I can have whatever I want except a hamburger. Okay. So I would leave your options open and run with it from there. Do you, Darcy? There's a song there someplace. Do you like to dehydrate parsley in the dehydrator or air dry them?
I dehydrate all of my herbs. In our house, we have animals. We have so many animals now that all shed like crazy. We have 5 humans that shed like crazy. And our house is dusty without all of that. It was that way before we ever moved in. I don't like hanging my herbs that way. And I'm not going to waste a bunch of time trying to put them in paper bags and all that kind of stuff. I just put them in my dehydrator, dry it at 95 or lower, whatever you've got, and you can save most of the flavor, so it'll be fine.
Okay. To make mushroom powder, is freeze drying or dehydrator better?
It just depends. What I found is that dehydrated mushroom powder is denser. Freeze dried mushroom powder is like airy. It's just the way that the fibers end up in it. And so I prefer the denser version of it. But if you want something that will dissolve better, then you can use a freeze-dried version. But it really just depends. Like, you need to try it out both ways, because I found that I just don't like freeze-dried mushrooms as much as I like dehydrated mushrooms. So
really,
yeah, we're having a hard struggle trying to like the freeze-dried mushrooms.
And I am blowing through them with Phil. Phil, I'm like, okay, I'm the mushroom nut, but this man, I'm going to start ordering number 10 cans of them.
Well, we don't mind snacking on them, but I don't like how they absorb so much moisture when I'm trying to rehydrate them for a meal. And even just throwing them in, they just seem to get mushier. So I'm trying to, So we're still trying to figure it out.
Soups and stews or meals, yes. And then you just measure out your noodles and your rice. And you can, Darcy, with her dehydrating, you can dehydrate your rice and your pasta to make it instant rice and instant pasta.
Yeah. But for meals in a jar, you have to try it both ways for what you like, because if you're putting it in a meal in a jar that it's not pre-cooked, like fully pre-cooked when you dehydrate it for the meal, when you put rice in there, that's instant rice, but you have to give all the other stuff plenty of time to cook and warm up and stuff. Your rice may get mushy, and your pasta certainly will. So even if you do instant pasta so that you can do it with less liquid if you're out camping or hiking, it's better if you kind of separate the pasta into a bag on top of your jar, pull it out, warm up everything else, throw the pasta in at the end, and let it rehydrate that way so it doesn't get too mushy. So you just have to know how you started out to whether or not you can add the rice and stuff in the beginning. Try that again, so that you can add the instant rice or pasta the way you need to. Yeah. So.
Okay. She's got a whole bunch of bell peppers coming out of her ears. Chop them up, whatever. Put them in a freezer bag. She doesn't use them that much in cooking. What can I use green pepper powder in?
It's a spice like anything else you do. So there are certain red peppers that are grown that when you powder them, that's paprika. So if you have a green pepper version of that, you just have that same spice but a different flavor. So just use it as a spice in whatever you're cooking. You can also chop them up really fine, dehydrate them, and store them that way, and just use them in tiny little bits that you might. Since you said you don't cook that much with them, you can use it for the bits that you do.
And it's really good to make unstuffed pepper soup.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so good. Okay, so to settle something for you, yes. Okay, I can speak to the All-American and to the Presto, so I have no idea about any other one. I forgot to ask. I'm thinking I'm coming across okay because it's not Monday Night Live.
I hear you fine.
Yeah.
In the very beginning, you went out, but now you're fine.
Oh, really? Okay. So, yes, you can use those as a pressure cooker. It actually says it on the Presto box. You would use it differently than you do as a pressure canner, but you can absolutely use it to cook in. You're going to want to super hyper clean it, especially the pipe going out the vent, to make sure that it's completely free of any debris. But yes, you can. Absolutely. Okay, chicken feet, canner, pressure. Okay. I froze 1/4-inch apples and tossed them on a tray frozen. Turned out great.
Good.
Let's see. I'm trying to catch up because we are talking like crazy. I went to Aldi's yesterday, putting up a box full of mushrooms today. Darn it, Jim. Do I need more mushrooms?
No, you don't have time.
I don't
just
have 6 weeks.
No. You don't have time.
I have 6 weeks. Okay. Darcy talks me down off the edge all the time. I dehydrated cucumbers and salt and vinegar chips into salt. Nice.
Yep.
Can you pressure can on a glass top stove? Call your stove manufacturer and ask them. They are literally the only ones that can tell you. Okay.
And know that you're going to have to use a Presto, a Miro, or a very small All-American if they say yes. You cannot use a big All-American because they're too heavy.
Right. Do you need to vacuum seal your dehydrated foods?
No. If they're properly dried, conditioned, and stored, you don't need to vacuum seal anything.
By properly storing them, they're in an airtight container.
Airtight container that's the right size. You don't want to have a big jar and a little amount of food in it. You want a jar that's the right size for the food that you have going in it. You don't need to vacuum seal anything. You can, and it can be a help. It's just not necessary if you don't have one. But if you have one, use it. This is it's there all the time.
Stephanie, cream of tomato soup is to make tomato soup and add cream when you open it. That's how, seriously, it's that easy. And I hear you. There is more and more food being recalled. I actually shared an article yesterday, I think, that Americans have less faith in their food system today than ever before. So, yeah, be afraid. Seriously. Can you dehydrate frozen vegetables? Darcy, tell us about your...
Do you not watch my channel ever?
No.
Yes, that's how... Well, you can't see it. Can you see it? I don't know if we're going to be able to get it. Right there. Okay. That is... A lot of that came frozen. Yep. Because I don't have a garden. I don't have a garden big enough to feed my family. Yep. So I either have to buy it raw and do it, or I do it from frozen. And some things are just better done from frozen because it's already prepped and ready to go for you. Just put it in and go. Yes, you can do frozen vegetables. Yep.
Actually, I think we started this chat talking about that, didn't
we? Yeah, I think somebody asked something about it.
Yeah. So Kelly Diebold wants to know if you have a good chicken jerky recipe.
No. Check jerkyholic.com.
Jerky what?
Jerkyholic. HOLIC.
Jerkyholic.com. Yeah. Melissa, I will love you forever. Okay, so I Did your recipe for tomatoes in the dehydrator the other day. Yummy. Lisa, I found a fire extinguisher today at the estate sale. Okay, look at, we're hitting all pistons here. We're doing good. I am trying to store flour, rice, nuts, potato flakes. They don't want to seal. Don't know if it's the lids or the oxygen absorbers. Okay, so flour, are you putting a coffee filter there? And understand that it doesn't matter what you do with that. It's only going to last a year to 2 tops, okay?
Same
The
with nuts.
rice will seal. It should seal with your vacuum sealer. Nuts always go in the freezer, otherwise they're rancid. Potato flakes, you have to do the same thing as you did with flour. You have to have something in there so your machine doesn't suck it up. Okay.
Wait a second, but she's saying the lids are the oxygen absorbers. So are you putting a lid on and putting the oxygen absorber in and then putting the ring on? Because the ring needs to be on there to make it airtight.
Oh, oxygen absorbers.
Yeah. So just make sure that when you're pouring the stuff in that you clean off that lid just like you would canning, that there's no dust on it.
How do you know that it's not working?
Yeah. Unless you didn't put a ring on.
Right.
Because it's not going to.
Yeah, you have to put the ring on to let it suck that, to make sure it's getting a good thing. Okay. Cooking tomato. Okay, I'm catching up. I love it. Emmy, a steam juicer gives you tomato serum.
Okay.
You first. Okay. Yeah. I have dehydrated my whole garden this year since finding Darcy, because she's a rock star. When looking for ways to preserve an abundance of garden produce that way.
Doesn't go to waste, I think. That way.
I don't know. Anyway, how can I dehydrate leftover chicken?
I wouldn't.
Put it in the freezer.
Yeah, just put it in the freezer. The thing about
stable.
Well, it can be. I mean, it can be. It's not reliably, but the thing about chicken is that when you rehydrate it, it's not the best texture. It's not the best mouthfeel. It doesn't work the same way that other meats can work that way. So unless it was pressure canned or cooked, or it was, in a commercial jar, the texture of it can be really hard. It's not great. So I wouldn't suggest doing it. I would really suggest just freezing it.
I'm okay. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here, which is where Darcy goes, I wish I was in Michigan so I could forehead smack you. Okay? What is the purpose of going to all the trouble of dehydrating something to put on your shelf when it is not reliably shelf stable?
Because like I said before, you put it in your freezer, you can take it out for short-term uses. So if you're a camper, hiker, backpacker, and want to go on a trip, you can have that meat ready for those trips.
Okay.
If you want to have a meal in a jar that you hand off to a neighbor and say, use this within the next couple of months, you've got a meal ready to go. You're probably going to last that long. Okay, probably.
Do you want to risk it? I mean, at prices today, I'm not.
But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it for a storage method that's the only way you store it.
Okay.
I will do it with ground beef because we eat a lot of ground beef in our house because it's cheap and it's what we use. And I don't have a problem with it because I don't let it sit for months and months and months. So
Darcy lives in Texas. That's why it's cheap.
No, it's not always that cheap, but it's cheaper than a lot of other meat. I mean, it's
really?
For me, it's cheaper, but it's not cheap.
Wow.
But I'm not going to go buy steak or anything because we can't afford that. So, so it's just that thing that you can. So it makes more sense for you to put meat up in the canning jar.
Okay.
I don't can. I'm just not ever going to be a canner that does it all the time. And so for me, for the one thing that I would do is ground beef. Chicken, no.
Okay. Once you dehydrate your apples and store them in a mason jar, is it best to use a vacuum sealer to take the air out? We keep covering that. So no. Yeah. Okay. Is less fat burger better to can with? Yes. The leaner, the better. Yeah. Because either way, you have to par cook it, put it in the jar, add liquid. Okay. But leaner's always better. But the one you can afford is the best. Okay. I have commitment issues with food, so I only do ingredients. I'm like commitment issues.
That sounds like a meal planner.
I know, really?
Yeah. Like, no, I can't.
I hate meal planning. I want to be spontaneous. Okay. Let's see. I joined 25 minutes late. Just started at the beginning because I don't want to miss a word. I'm canning sweet corn today and baking for a market tomorrow. You are both so calming. Oh, you haven't hung out with us.
Oh, no, you haven't.
There's at least a meltdown a day between the two of us. Okay. How do I dehydrate chicken cacciatore pasta?
You don't. Well, no, you can, but no cream and no fat. So
So you can, but you can't. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Is it safe to make and dehydrate egg noodles?
Yes.
Darcy? Okay.
You have to cook them first. Okay. According to the USDA safety standards with foods, if you're using eggs in your pasta, you should cook it first and then dry it. Don't dry it raw. If you're buying egg noodles from the store, yes, you can cook them and dry them. It's no problem.
Okay. What's the secret to dehydrating basil? Or as you say,
basil. First, and just never try it. It takes, it's more oils, it's thicker leaves, depending on the kind of basil you have. It just takes longer. And if you have really big ones, it's best to break them down some before you put it in because it'll help them dry faster.
Okay. Love our freeze-dried mushrooms. What do you rehydrate them with? Saliva.
Stock?
Saliva. They go in my mouth. Okay. Okay, so I've seen people can sausage patties. Could you can hamburger patties? I want you to imagine. I've seen people do a lot of stuff. Okay, be nice. So anyway, yes, you can. You absolutely can. Okay, so when you cook a burger, when you cook meat, okay, meat is fibrous. Meat binds itself when you cook raw meat in whether it's sausage or whether it's ground beef into a patty. It's fibrous, and so it binds itself up so that when you take a bite, you're having to take a bite and pull away. Okay, you are par cooking, so you are cooking it, the sausage patty or the hamburger patty, but then you are putting it into a jar and adding water. So what are you doing? You're boiling it. Okay, so you have crumbly meat that attempts to be in a patty. I'm not texture sensitive. That sucks. Okay, it's horrible. Why? Because it looks cool. Why? No. I mean, if you want a burger or a sausage patty that you can bite into the right way, if you want to gum it, that's the way to do it. Perfect. Okay. Did you like me being nice?
Yeah.
Doesn't work, does it? Doesn't work. No. Darcy, why did some of my shredded zucchini turn brown and almost look burnt in spots? It was dehydrated at 120. Is it still okay to use them? Will it taste burnt?
It taste it. Taste it now. It'll be fine. Could be sugars if your zucchini was like older and had a lot of developed sugars in it. Your machine runs a little hotter, so turn the temperature down next time you do zucchini. It'll be fine.
Steven, hit me up with that recipe. I don't know where you got it from. So if you got it from Susie made a canning book, like I'm seeing out there, then no. If Ball or the USDA, not the USDA, if Ball or the National Center or Bernardin has that recipe, then it's tested and it's good. Okay.
But why are they going to add clear gel to it so that it makes it a little more firm in the jar? Because why don't you just do that when you...
Because it's so much better to have it ready when you pull it out of the jar. Whatever, Okay, because not everything belongs in a jar. It doesn't. Okay. Same problem, basil. Okay, basil. I'm always gonna say basil now. No, I'm not. Darcy, can you just pour boiling water from a kettle over to rehydrate the minute rice?
Yeah. You just have to use the right ratio, which is 1-to-1-ish. You'll just have to play with it to depend on how much yours needs to rehydrate. There are some some rice that takes a little more, but for regular rice, it's usually about 1-to-1. But play with it.
Cool. Hey, Suze, do your tomatoes with that thing. Oh my gosh, it's awesome. Yes. Darcy, Kristen, and Chat.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Who's Kristen? Are dehydrators expensive to use?
Depends on where you are and what your rates are. Mine cost about 75 cents a day to use for 24 hours. So cool. It's like for a whole 24-hour run for something, it's maybe 75 cents for the day.
Nice. Okay, I'm getting through it. Melissa, you're funny. I forage. Hey, Nancy. I forage a lot of funnel chanterelles. Sorry, the cat's rearranging the house. Each year that I dehydrate, I store them in food grade buckets.
Okay.
Perfect. She's in Sweden. Yes. Hello, I just found your channel. I am dehydrating, freezing, and trying to get the guts to start canning. Okay, so come on over, see me for canning, but stay there for dehydrating and all that stuff. For tomato sauce, wait to add the oil or spices, or can I put it all in together and can it? Follow a recipe. Follow a canning recipe. You cannot use Aunt Maeve's awesome canning sauce recipe. You have to follow a recipe, unless you are canning literally just tomatoes, at which point you still have to follow an approved recipe. So with canning, National Center for Home Food Preservation, Ball, Bernardin, those are the three big ones. Okay. Oh, look at that. Melissa says y'all are evil on the jerky site.
Because it's a good site.
You prepared pork butt the way that you taught on your video, and it's sitting in my freezer until I can get to it. Awesome. I love me some pork butt. I gotta process 3 of them here so I can fit an actual pig in there. I use oxygen. Huh?
Go buy another freezer.
I know. I will not buy another freezer. No. I might as well live in Ireland for my electric bill. It's stupid, I use oxygen absorbers along with vacuum sealing my flour. Will it last longer than 2 years? No. And I don't know what LDS does to their number 10 cans of flour, but quite honestly, no. Flour has a natural oil into it. Commercially ground flour is completely a bastardized version of flour, and so it still has a natural oil in it. It will go rancid. I have had LDS stuff that I opened the can 10 years later and went, I'm not eating that. There's no way. They lose their seal. It doesn't look like they do, but they do. Use it. Don't stock it unless you're going to use it. Seriously. So get it used. Easiest way. Darcy, I dehydrated jalapenos for hubby. So do I add anything to it when I blend it?
If it's just jalapeno powder, no. Then you just wear a mask.
Oh my God, put a super mask on.
And glasses.
And everything. Don't touch anything. Do it outside if you can.
Yeah. If you want to make jalapeno salt, then you add some salt to it. But no, for it by itself, you don't need to do anything.
Yeah. And it's I love jalapeno powder, but I will never make it again. I made it for years. I will never make it again. I cleaned out my sinuses like nobody's business. That's funny. Perfectly imperfect. Since I found SuttonsDaze, my husband is afraid I'm going to throw out his chair for more food storage space.
Same here. Kick some people out of my house so I can have some more space.
That's right. I need room. You have to leave. Let's see. When water bath canning or pressure canning, can you cut a recipe in half? Yeah, you'll get less jars. But when you're pressure canning, you can't have any less than 4 jars in a pressure canner. And in water bath canning, you probably don't want less than that because they'll move. So I guess it would be dependent.
Well, if you cut a recipe in half by putting a recipe into smaller jars, like if you had a quart.
That's what I would do. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
You can't always go up with a pressure canning recipe, but you can go down. If they give you a time for quarts, then at the worst case scenario, you could do pints for the quart time and you're not going to harm anything. If they don't give you a time for quarts, you can't do it. If you want to put it in, if you want to put it in 8-ounce jars instead of pints, then you just do it for the pint time.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know that. Yeah. I mean, the purpose of canning is that you're doing the whole thing and you can put it up on the shelf. You guys always hit us with the best questions. You make me look at things different. Oh no. Okay. So they would love to see some recipes on using our dehydrated food in recipes.
I have them.
She has them. Nobody watches them.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to go look for them because
they're always going to be either at the end of the video or I've got some that are on their own and it's, you ask for it, but you won't watch it. So yeah, they're going to be more.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I'm going to be very, very simplified here because it happens with canning and with freeze-dried food and everything else. You use it the way you use the food.
Right. It's an ingredient that you use just like you would use
Yeah.
the ingredient when it was fresh. For the most part, you just have to
Don't let it scare you. Yeah, it's just food. It's just food. Um, I bought an entire bottom round flat for $3.68 a pound today. Nice. I dehydrate the pre-cooked meats, but keep it in jars in the freezer. Okay, yeah. What is Darcy's website?
thepurposefulpantry.com. That's it.
That's her right there. Okay. My lemons are so hard that I can barely break the rinds, but the flesh part still feels tacky. Any advice?
Okay, so you need to break one because you need to see inside the cells. Because what happens with all citrus is that the outside can dry really fast and really hard, and then the inside still takes a long time to dry. If it's still tacky is one thing. If it's sticky, that's another. So if it's sticky, it's not dry. A little bit of tackiness can just be the sugars that have come to the surface, and then the humidity in your air makes them a little tacky that way. You're gonna have to break it to see the inside of that cell to make sure. If it's not dry, put it on for longer. If it's dry, you're good.
There you go. Can I can frozen strawberries and do? Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Just about any fruit, because when you're making a jam, you're mashing the snot out of it anyway. So yeah. Oh my God, I just thought, hey, refresh your screen. Oh, okay. She's been staring at a blank screen for 15 minutes. I'm so sorry.
Just if you have trouble remembering my site, just put in Darcy Dehydrating. It'll take you to it.
Yeah, seriously, Google finds her. Lori Hyman says I'm spicy today.
You're always spicy. Always. You're always spicy. They just don't get to see you. You're always spicy.
Have either of you freeze-dried zucchini before?
Yes. And I actually kind of prefer it over dried. Oh, yeah.
For the same as the mushrooms or whatever, because it's airier?
Well, and it rehydrates better. It's not as chewy. Yeah. I find that it blends better into things, and it makes but the powder, if you're going to make zucchini powder, is also a little airier. It doesn't have, I don't know how to say it, but it treats the skin of zucchini, because I never peel my zucchini. It treats that skin a little differently, so it's a better texture for me, but I still like dehydrated too. So I like them both. I just do prefer zucchini freeze-dried.
Tammy Merritt listens to me, just so you know. Yeah. What are the best foods to dehydrate for long-term storage?
Anything you already eat. Don't do meats. Don't do anything fatty. Use frozen vegetables if you're trying to do it fast, but there's no best foods to dehydrate because it's what you eat and what you're already going to use.
Yes, you can.
Yep.
Sure. Now, it might not have exactly the same texture, but it's absolutely an edible good texture. Yeah.
Right. And it may not have the same volume. So
right.
You have to adjust the volume as you're trying to recreate.
Yeah. Do I have a recipe for you? No.
Just put it together.
Are the extension offices a safe place to get canning recipes? Yes, if they have them. Ohio. Georgia's number one. Wisconsin, Alaska, Washington State, Kansas. Yeah, anybody but Michigan, because Michigan sucks. Okay. Don't get me started. Okay. What's a good inexpensive freeze dryer? There's
no inexpensive.
Yeah. No. If our product siphons, is it still safe? If it's sealed, yes. I froze tomato this year until I can can. Are they going to be mushy when they're thawed? Yes, tomatoes are mushy when they thaw. Yep. When dehydrating eggs, what is the best?
Okay, Bonnie, I'm going to tell you this. You can do what you want at your own home. The safe standards for doing eggs is freeze drying.
They're
to get them into. Oh, sorry.
What's your thing with meat?
Not reliably shelf stable.
Yes, there you go.
This is also a health issue. This is also a
botulism
with doing eggs.
Salmonella.
And even if it's your own home chickens, yeah. If you're going to do fine powder, then you need to do them raw, which I will not recommend. I just can't. And it doesn't matter the machine. Dehydrators all work exactly the same as long as they have a temperature gauge.
Are we related?
No, but we could be sisters from different moms.
We could be. And dads. Okay, shelf life for canned meat is as long as you canned it properly and store it in 55 to 75 degrees, literally 10 years. Turkey can just like chicken. It's poultry, so you can can it just like chicken. Okay. My neighbor gave me a bunch of limes. Any idea on what I could make with them?
Dehydrate them.
Put them in tea.
Make key lime pie. Zest them. Dry the zest. Yeah. Juice it. Freeze the juice.
Brian V is just pooping in with a picture. He is in possession of a picture of me in front of a pallet of Spam that I did not buy. It is still at Sam's Club, just so that you know. Everybody else saw it, Brian. I let everyone else know you can't use it. No blackmail there, baby. Can you make some videos on making meals for your bug out bag in case of evacuation? No.
Have them.
Darcy has them. I don't know. Meals. Let's see.
What kind of meals do you want? Do you want like Lunchable kind of meals that you just put crackers and kind of beef jerky and that kind of stuff together, or do you want dehydrated meals in a jar that you can put in a bag? Because you can use those interchangeably.
Okay, so
Depends on what you need.
Here's me though, okay? Because I'm all about the world's going to end tomorrow because human beings suck. Okay, if the poop is hitting the fan, the last thing I'm looking for is pasta primavera in a pouch. No, I'm looking for something to stick in my face. Okay, so if you're going camping, that's fine. Figure out how to make something in a Mylar bag that you can heat up easily at the campfire. For your bug out bag, you need something that you can eat, period. Without water. Or without water. Like freeze-dried meats, you can eat it without water, but man, it's hard,
Yeah, but I'm thinking like if you really need it for that quick of a bug out thing that you need for short term, like go for protein bars and stuff like that.
Seriously, yeah.
You don't need to prep.
Yeah, I mean...
canned chicken, all that kind of stuff that you don't need to do all the prep with, but...
No, oven canning...
Never.
Oven canning is my hope that natural selection eventually kicks in.
For dry or wet.
We have negated natural selection, and things like dry canning potatoes and oven canning prove it. Okay, so no.
And not for doing dried foods either. Not for putting dried foods in there and hoping that the oven's gonna
It doesn't, and you're compromising the jars, which means the poor soul that buys them used from you because you've died has compromised jars and can't use them either. So no, just stop it, people. Would you recommend freezing broth? I was thinking of freezing in jars, but I don't want to break them. If you use smallmouth, it has that shoulder. I don't have one here.
Yeah, right here.
That shoulder. So when there you go. So when it expands, it doesn't break the jar. You're good. They're actually, it says it on their website, I think. I made some beef jerky using soy sauce, maple syrup, garlic. For the first time, it turned out great. It sounds really good. I left 3 strips to test it. The 3 strips are 4 years old.
3 minutes.
Oh my gosh. It smells okay. Is it still good?
I would never eat that in a million years.
You first. Okay.
Yeah. It's not cured. I wouldn't eat it in a million years.
Oh my gosh. Guys. Okay. I'm doing a real quick scan to grab anything that can allow me to be spicy. Can you dehydrate dog kibble for long-term storage?
No. Especially if you're using proteins. No. Right.
Well, because
even for dogs, no.
Dog kibble has an oil in it, and that's why it doesn't store for more than 6 months. Let's see. Part-time Greek vegan. Sorry, my first time making jerky.
Okay.
Vegan. Okay. Oh
part-time. Just part-time.
Yeah.
Jerky needs to be cured for long-term storage.
Yeah.
If you got it long-term, if it's lasted that long, I would personally would never eat it because you don't know. I just wouldn't eat it. So.
Have we met in person? No, but we have plans.
Yeah.
They're very loose because I don't like to travel, and
I can't travel right now.
Yeah, so they're very loose right now. Okay. But
we spend a lot of time doing this, thow.
Yeah. We're constantly, yeah. She sees me.
We basically live with each other.
Yeah, we do. Really. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna keep scrolling. Oh, what can I not put in homemade pasta sauce to safely can it? You have to use an approved recipe to can it. So it's not a matter of what you can't put in there. It's a matter of you have to put an approved recipe. So go to the National Center for Home Food Preservation, check out their recipe, check out the Ball website, check out the University Extension website, see what you can come up with. And yeah, it's not a matter of what you can't put in there. It's a matter of making sure that what you put in there, the combination makes it safe. Okay. Yes, do turkey the same way because they're probably pumping it up the same way as they are chicken. Okay. See, it's not spicy. It's no BS. Okay. Darwin was right. Darwin was very right.
So our tagline can now become, with our no BS approach to dehydrating and canning.
There you
go. Not just weight loss and fitness. I don't know. You may see the same person that I see. So I'll tell you after.
I don't see that one, but anyway, okay. Yeah. Don't take weight loss and fitness advice from me. Whatever you do. Of all the things, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to the food bank tomorrow, and they have rice, pasta, canned meat, vegetable, etc. All the staples, well worth going. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you are having trouble stocking your pantry, if you have the ability at all to go and get to a food pantry, they do hand you long-term, good quality food storage. They give you canned meat. They give you beans. They give you rice. They give you shelf-stable milk. They give you nuts. Yeah, they do. So don't be ashamed to do that. My God, take advantage of it because it's there. Okay. Yeah.
And I worked in one for a very long time, and they're all more than happy that if you need it, they're going to give it to you.
Exactly. So. No, you do not put vinegar in all canning. No. And so how long does beef jerky last? 1 year?
Jerky doesn't last unless it's cured.
Okay, so
you have to put it in the freezer.
It is. We're 1 minute over. You guys have been spectacular. This has been like with snarkiness, or not snarky, spicy. We're spicy.
Our no BS approach.
Our no BS approach.
I think that fits.
I do. Yes. Okay. So that is it. We will be back. Yes, Bernardin is tested just like Ball. It's a method. The reason I tell you is because they are tested. Do not trust all the books that are out there. All the books that are out there are Susie going, I'm blonde and I put together a book in here. And
one or AI something.
Or AI, seriously. Yes, oh yes. My God.
Those are getting so bad.
And Brussels sprouts and bacon. I'm not even going there. You want to know who it is? Hit me up. But yeah. She's an expert. Just ask her. Anyway, so we want you to be safe because we want you to come back and spend another day with us.
Yes.
Because Darcy likes talking to me with other people involved. Okay. Everybody have a super great weekend. Be safe and enjoy tomorrow, which is the equinox where, everything's even.